Hello friends, it is Danny. Welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be telling you about the 17 books that I gave 5 stars to in 2017. I didn't want to do a wrap up of what I read in 2017 because I didn't really read that much. I think I read like a little over 30 books, which sounds like a lot to people who don't read, but for me that was like the least amount of reading I had done in 3 years. And so it really bothered me that I hadn't read that much and didn't feel like doing a wrap up for all of the things that I did read. So instead of that, decided to cut that number in half, which I find ironic because it's like 17 and 17. Right, so these are not in any order. They are in the order in which I pulled them off my shelves, which look like a mess right now. So without further ado, here are the 17 books I rated 5 stars in 2017. As well as why I rated them. The first book on my pile is Thug, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. It's beautiful, amazing, made me cry. I absolutely loved it and cannot wait for the movie. Also, I met Angie Thomas and she signed it and it made me so happy. The next book on my pile is 50 Shades Darker, the movie tie-in by E.L. James. I've told y'all a million times 50 Shades Darker was my favorite book in the series, and so when I read the movie tie-in, of course I had to give it 5 stars because I gave the other version of it 5 stars as well. I couldn't not. The next book that I gave 5 stars is By Your Side by Casey West. I'm just gonna keep saying it. You all know that I love Casey West. She's my favorite contemporary writer. I have all of her books. By Your Side was one of my favorites by her ever because it was relatable in the sense that her main character suffers from anxiety and I suffer from anxiety, and so I really found a piece of myself in Autumn, and oh my god, Dax is amazing. So of course I had to give it 5 stars. Next on my list is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I got to meet her at BookCon. I didn't have this book at the time, otherwise I would have had her sign it. But this again is like Thug. It is based off the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality. It was good. It was good. I'll leave a link to my review in the cards because I did review this book. Next on my list is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I got to meet him at BookCon and I have a copy of History Is All You Left Me that I got a book plate from him signed for. I actually have 2 arcs of this, and one of them I think is going to be used for a giveaway if y'all want it when I reach 3K. I don't think I need to explain why this book got 5 stars. It's too beautiful not to. It murdered me in the best way. So there's that. Next on my pile is Love Life in the List by Casey West. Again, she is on here. This book I gave 5 stars because I feel like this one was much more mature than her other books that she's been writing lately, and so I was really happy. Really loved everything that the main character had to go through to get to where she was by the end of the book, and I'm going to be reviewing this one very, very, very soon. Stay tuned on my channel for that. Next on my pile is this mammoth, Akabor, A Court of Rings and Ruin by Miss Sarah J. Maas. This book absolutely ruined me. It was probably one of my favorite reads of 2017. I was put into a book slump after reading this because it was just that good and so emotional, and I'm pretty sure page 600 and something still has the tear stains in which I cried upon. So page 666, which is very fitting. I'm going to show you page 665, but if you can see, this page right here has tear stains in which I cried upon, and so for that it got 5 stars. Another book that I gave 5 stars is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. I listened to the audiobook whilst also reading along with her, and she narrates the audiobook, and she is amazing. She's my favorite actress. I love her. I love everything that she stands for. I just feel like we have very similar attitudes, and I love her, and so she got 5 stars. Another book that I gave 5 stars is Saga Volume 7, which is a continuation of the Saga Volumes series, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. It was good. It was good. Then I have Wires and Nerve Volume 1 by Marissa Meyer, which is the very pretty graphic novel about Ico, or Ico, if you will, from the Chronicles, the Lunar Chronicles. Yep, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I'm very excited to pick up book number 2 because It's so good. The next book on my pile is probably my all-time favorite book that I read in 2017. I got an arc of it, but this is a finished copy. It's beautiful, and it is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I met her at Frenzy Presents in September, along with Angie Thomas and Julie Murphy, and so she signed my copy. It was so good. I love Molly so much, and I love Reed so much. And I love that we got a glimpse of some of the Simon characters, and I am so ready for Leah on the Offbeat, and I'm really sad that there's no arcs of that. The last physical book in my pile is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is a classic. This is literally the classic Peter Pan. But my favorite part about this book is that it's like the illustrated fancy edition, so I have things like this map that kind of pop out. Oh wait, here we go. Nailed it. Things like this that just pop out and make the reading experience 10 million times better. And it also kind of got me in the mood because I read it right before Nano to write my Space Peter Pan LGBT book, which I have not finished yet. Whoops. It is now my all-time favorite classic, by the way. Another book that I read that I gave 5 stars is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. Hannah and I got to meet her at BookCon. She got a book plate signed for Geekerella at her signing at Quirk Books. And I had not read the book when I met her, but I told her that I was really excited to read it. And then Hannah let me borrow her copy, and I read it, and I absolutely loved it. And it just actually took me back to the world that I felt like I was in when I was at BookCon, because it's about a convention about this big fancy, like almost like Star Trek of their world, or Star Wars of their world, and it was good. Another book that Hannah loaned me that I gave 5 stars was Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. This again took me back to how I was feeling when I was at BookCon, because it's about kind of like VidCon. Essentially, it's like a big nerdy con, and there's LGBT aspects, and there's like 3 different stories of falling in love, and I love it. Another book that Hannah let me borrow that I loved was DramaCon by Svetlana Shmirkova. I think that's how you say her name. Hannah can say it way better. Hannah got to meet her at BookCon. I read it just before we went to BookCon, and I loved it. It is basically like a manga slash graphic novel, big graphic novel of the entire series of DramaCon. Again, it took me to the world of BookCon, which I at the time did not know what it was like, but kind of figured that's what it was like, and now I can totally be like, yeah, that's what it was like. So another one that she let me borrow that I absolutely loved so much that I gave 5 stars is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. It was her favorite book at the time, still is her favorite book right now. I read the copy of her book whilst also listening to the audiobook. I have not read the second book, but I really liked the first book, even though it kind of got confusing. The audiobook kind of made things confusing, and I felt like some of the world wasn't exactly described as I wanted it to be. That's okay, because I still loved it, and I still gave it 5 stars. And the last book on my list that I borrowed from Hannah that I do not have a copy of yet, but really desperately want a copy of, is Akamath by Sarah J. Maas, which is the second book in the A Court of series. It is the first book in my opinion. I refuse to acknowledge A Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Mist and Fury was obviously my favorite up until Aqua War, but I still feel like I liked Akamath a little better, ? But I gave it 5 stars, and I'm very excited for any new additions that we get to this series, but I was like, when's it gonna end? I don't want it to go on for like 17,000 books. So those are the 17 books that I gave 5 stars to in 2017. The rest of my reads were mostly 4-star and 3-star, and there were a couple of 2s and 1s. I find that I'm now being much more picky about the books that I'm reading in terms of how I rate them, because I don't plan on giving 5-star reviews or ratings unless I'm like 100% sold that it changed my life and that I loved it that much that I would read it again and sell my kidney to get another copy of, etc, etc. I want to start being more critical about the things that I'm reading because I'm growing up. And while I am reading for fun, I still want to be able to have a valid conversation that can express and explain why I feel the way I feel about books. So comment down below some of your favorite books from 2017, or if you've read any of these and agree or disagree. That's it for this video, you guys. I don't know what my next one's gonna be, but whatever it is, I'll see you guys in that one.